What's up, everyone? What's going on?
How's everybody doing? Welcome to another longer. Is that me echoing? Today,
Yes, it is. Okay, guys. Before we start, I'm just gonna do a quick shout out about today. We're gonna be listening. We're gonna be hearing chickens. We're gonna have like Nina be freezing all over the place, right? Because there's some technical issues going on in the back right now, but I think we'll find a way to sort it out as we go. Okay.
I'm just gonna be out and say it's not technical issues. It's the room that I'm sitting in. I'm right next to the chickens. Okay, and I think it's the internet. So yeah, whatever happens because this is live, yo. All right, so welcome back to another episode of Just Like a Show. Today we are on our 54th episode, and we're going to be talking about how to use LinkedIn for and as leaders. And we've got an exciting speaker today. I'm very excited.
Exactly.
And we want to know who's in the house. Let us know if you're a regular popcorner. Say popcorn, you know. And if you're a newbie, you can type in noob. You know, we're always happy to see new faces. Let us know. Let us know where you're tuning in from. How you guys are doing. How's the week? And share with us, what do you guys want to get from today's episode? How to use LinkedIn for and as a leader. Now, happening right here on the Just Langa Show with me, Nina Sharul Khan, and my co-host. Yep, I got it right this time.
Yandaro Al Amin, you guys, you know me. You can just call me Amin, all right? It's easier to call me Amin.
Did you just read your name, Amin, from the script?
I did. I'm like looking at the script right now. Why am I introducing myself like so formal right now?
Okay, because I wrote the script. Okay. All right. Yay. Hello. Okay. Now, while waiting for your replies, if you're new to the show, Just Like Us, where we interview the movers and shakers in the world to help you guys grow your authority, impact, and income as a thought leader, business influencer, and the authority in your respective industry. Now, in other words, we're PopCon. We build Southeast Asia's business influencers and thought leaders. So if there's something that excites you, follow us on all our social media. We've got trainings, events, and of course, we've got the Just Langa Show. Coming up next week, we've got on the 1st of July, do we have Rohan's poster? I mean,
yes, we do.
He's the best-selling author of the Growth Hacking book series, world record holder and celebrated growth hacker on how to acquire and retain 100 to 100K users, customers, followers, whatever you want. That's he's it. Happening next week on Thursday. It's going to be at the usual time, 8 o'clock. So we'll see you there. Okay.
I'm interested about that one because you know what? I can't even handle like my own database right now. And this guy has about like 100,000. He can still manage it. I want to know how he does it.
Okay. It's all in the systems. I'm pretty sure.
And anyway, I suck at system. You know that, right?
Oh, yes, I know. I have to back you up all the time. Okay, anyway, so if this is something that excites you, please follow us on all our social media. Can we show all the links? I mean, it's basically PopConFest everywhere. And we're starting to build a Telegram as well. So please subscribe to the Telegram so you can be updated with everything that's happening. Okay. So who's tuning in right now? Wow, so many already. We've got Samantha, Marissa, hey. Liz will try to be there early if she finishes a meeting. Renee, welcome. Vivian's here. Popcorn, Noob, Krishnamurti is also here. All right, we're excited. In fact, I think our guest knows Krishnamurti. They probably had wine together. We're going to talk about that later. So, while we're waiting for you guys to respond, what is it that you guys want to get from today's session? Hey, Anita, welcome. What is it that you guys want to get from today's session? Let us know in the comment. In the meantime, what do you want to get from today's session, Amin?
I want to know a little bit more about blogging and is it still relevant, especially for CEOs? Because I always thought that blogging is like so yesterday. So that's what I felt.
Okay. I mean, it's a bit judgmental, but let's find out.
I'm a judgment machine. You have to understand that, right? I'm like, anything that's new, I'm like, anything that's old, I'm like, okay.
Is that the same thing with the old people as well? Do you have that sort of judgment against old people? Just wondering.
Possible.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Now, for me, I want to find out because I don't write long articles. I don't think I'm a person who writes long articles. Oh, somebody's saying cluck, cluck, cluck. My chickens, I'm so sorry. Okay. So I don't write long stuff, but my posts are getting longer and longer. So is this something I want to look into? But not just that, Sales Navigator. who should be using it, as well as, smart links. I would really love to know the POV of our speaker, because he's the #1 LinkedIn marketing dude. So, definitely going to be, digging his brains deep kind of thing. So what do you guys want to know? Let us know. Apart from chickens, come on, guys. I'm sure you have other things you want to know. Okay. Now, according to the study by Brand Fog, I thought it was Brand Frog, but it's actually Fog. Brand Fog. When you've got a social media savvy CEO, it actually helps with how to communicate and strengthen your brand values. It builds trust in the company and its products and services. It actually increases your sales and revenue. All this by just being active on social media. But the question is, how does one go about it? How does this thought leadership thing work? How are other leaders and CEOs using it? So that's what we're going to cover about today. That's what we're going to dive really deep in today. And if you think this is useful, it's going to make a difference to someone out there, then share this post out on social media, tag your friends, whoever who can benefit from it. Let the world learn so that we can all grow together. Okay. So, and once you're done with that, get your pens, get your notebook ready, because we are going to level up our knowledge by the end of this hour. Right? Are you excited? Because I certainly am. Amin is excited, I'm sure, although his face doesn't show it.
Guys, I have to remember I'm managing like technical stuff at the back, and Nina is freezing all the time right now, and there's chicken going on. So I'm like,
oh yeah, I am freezing because I'm looking at my phone. Okay. Well, I hope that when I freeze, I look good and not bad like that. Okay, anyway, so who do we have in the house? Our guest today is world #1 LinkedIn marketing and personal branding expert. He has not one, but 4 international best-selling books on LinkedIn. We're talking Personal Branding Mastery for Entrepreneurs, LinkedIn Mastery for Entrepreneurs, Social Selling Mastery for Entrepreneurs, and How to Become a LinkedIn Rockstar. I guess his target customer persona is entrepreneurs, right? Okay. Now, he is such a rock star on LinkedIn that he has, get this, guys, an unprecedented 1,800 LinkedIn recommendations. Okay, that's like crazy. Okay, 1,800. How many do you have, Amin? And he's got more than not
even like 100 yet, but it's we'll work there. We'll work there.
I'm pretty sure mine is less than 10. Okay, so I guess I gotta work for it. And he's got more than 100,000 guys, more than 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. And apart from his 4 international best-selling books on LinkedIn, of course, he's also the official Forbes contributor on LinkedIn, and he's also an official LinkedIn Power Profile. So he's a serial global entrepreneur. He's created 5 and exited 4 marketing firms in Europe, Asia Pacific, from his home, Singapore, basically. And in fact, he loves Singapore so much that he renounced his UK citizenship, really, and is now a full-fledged, passionate Singaporean citizen. He loves.
Welcome to Singapore.
Yeah. I think we need to find out if he eats durian, right? And he loves to share his uncensored, provocative, controversial, polarizing, and authentic thoughts on a variety of business topics on LinkedIn and for Forbes. He's also won Social Media Entrepreneur of the Year, Asia's most influential digital media professional, and B2B social media influencer of the year. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris J Mohawk Red.
Okay, we got to do that.
Welcome, Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Fantastic. Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
Awesome. Okay, Chris, first and foremost, we love your hair. Love it.
We got to handle the hair first. Before anything else, the hair needs to be handled first.
Okay, you're right. The hair needs to be handled first. How much hair gel do you use? Do you need hair gel or you use something else?
I use very special clay. It has to be a designer clay I use to cope with the humidity here in Singapore, and to cope with the wind and so forth. And you can only get one brand of it here in Singapore. And I go everywhere to just find that particular brand. I buy it up across the whole of the island, so nobody else can have it. So that's why I have the only CEO with a mohawk in Singapore, because no one else can get it this high up.
Right. Exactly.
I'm very sure you've been answering these questions like thousands of times. You even have a script to answer that, right?
Okay, so you make sure you're the only one who has it because you take over all the supplies in the island, right? Okay, got it. How many bottles do you use in a year? Just wondering.
I mean, it takes quite a bit of effort, as you can imagine. I mean, it's quite tall at the moment, so you can imagine.
Is it hard?
Singapore, it's yeah, of course it's hard. Otherwise, it'd be floppy over, wouldn't it? If the wind comes in, it would just flop over. So it has to be. That's why you can't use gel, and you can't use mousse, and you can't use hairspray. None of that works. The only thing that works is clay. So you need to really make it substantial, and it's cut in a certain way. I mean, it's been cut this way for over 10 years now. So my hairdresser was a wonder at doing it. He dyes it in this particular way, and he cuts it in a way to support the foundation. It's like a building. My mohawk's like a building. You can't just basically have no foundation. You've got to have a foundation to make sure it stays up. Otherwise, it's all floppy.
Yeah, it's like a shark, isn't it? Does it help with your swimming? I'm sure it does, but then I think it might, go. If you go
when
swimming.
I used to cycle, I used to have a helmet, and it used to go through the middle of the helmet.
What? Really? That's good. So everybody's loving how it cuts the wind, hair wind, kind of thing, shark, cuteness overload kind of thing. Thank you for answering that. Okay, so first things first, Chris, can you share with us what were you doing before LinkedIn, and how did you end up being this LinkedIn maestro, kind of
That's
thing?
a brilliant question. So that was when I was in the UK, like 13 years ago, nobody used LinkedIn. This was like 2008. So basically, I moved to Singapore, and I only had 200 connections, and I used those connections to talk to people here and say, hey, what's going on in Singapore? How can I get a job? What's going on there? I met all these fantastic people. I got my first, my second, my third job by using LinkedIn to network. Those jobs were marketing jobs across the whole of Asia Pacific. I didn't know anybody in Asia Pacific. So I started using LinkedIn, because I figured if you could use LinkedIn for recruitment, you could use LinkedIn to target CEOs or CMOs in China and Indonesia and Malaysia and Jakarta and Australia and everywhere else. And sure enough, it worked. And I realized pretty quickly that nobody else was doing this. Nobody else was really enabling other people to use LinkedIn. That's why I created Black Marketing nearly 10 years ago, to help entrepreneurs use LinkedIn across the whole of the world. That's why we have a business 10 years later, because still no one knows how to use LinkedIn properly to this day.
Why do you think that is so? Why?
Because they're late. Because most people are lazy. Because most people don't realize it takes hours every single day to use LinkedIn properly. A content strategy, a personal branding strategy, a social selling strategy. Have a complete profile. I did a presentation this morning, and there was 50 people on the call, and we went through every single one's profile. Not one profile had a 50% complete profile. And these are CEOs and executives of multinationals in Singapore. None of them had a complete profile. The background picture was missing. They had a terrible picture. They didn't have a picture that was shown to their non-first connections. They had no about section. They had no featured section. They had no content going on. I mean, literally, it's car crash after car crash. And I love it, because I go in and go, this is rubbish. This is rubbish. This is rubbish. You're doing it all wrong. And they go, yeah, he's right. Yeah, I'm doing this all wrong. And that's why we have a business. Now, hopefully, obviously, by sharing tips to things like in my best-selling book about how to become a LinkedIn rock star, you can do it yourself. And obviously, our business is based on people actually then employing us to do it, people who don't have the time and have the money to actually use to realize that they want to win clients. I mean, ultimately, you want to win clients by using LinkedIn. It's all about social selling, but you can't just do hard sell, otherwise people turn you off. So you've got to do it by following the 3 steps. Personal branding first, then content marketing, then social selling. You only do some social selling once people trust your personal brand on LinkedIn. Once you do thought leadership, going back to your earlier point, Armin, you've got to do thought leadership every single day, because if people see you as a thought leader, they respect you, they respect your company, and you create engagement. Creating engagement leads to people to come to your profile. Once they're at your profile, you can start talking about your business, because you've given value, you've given content away, you've given ideas to them, you're sharing your experience, you're passing on tips. They can take that up, and then they can start saying to you, okay, how can we work together? But you can't do it the other way around. It can't be a hard sell first and then start sharing later on. You've got to share value. You've got to give people actually a lot of information, which is why I give away all my tips in my book and my YouTube and my blogs and my posts and on Forbes. You can do it yourself. Everyone on this call, everyone can do it themselves. Every single person. But it takes hours every single day. I warn you.
Okay, hang on. So now that you've let the cat out of the bag, it takes hours. We understand this.
We
How
understand
many
that.
hours are we talking about
Do
in the
you-
day? Because the CEO, the leader, has to run their business.
And
Precisely.
they have this excuse. They will have this excuse.
Precisely, which
They
is
will
why we have
say-
a business.
Yeah, I don't have time
Yeah.
to do
precisely.
that. Right? So
Right.
how do we deal with this kind of conversation, Chris?
I mean, but that's why we have a business, because people don't have time. CEOs don't have time, because CEOs are basically running their own business. They don't have time to do LinkedIn as well, because basically, if you share a post which goes viral, you have to answer all those comments. That takes hours every single day. You have to look at what topical posts are coming up and share topical posts. If you don't share a topical post on the day, you can't share it a week later, because people are going, well, that happened a week ago. Why are you sharing it now? You've got to be on top of things every single morning, and then follow up with every single comment. And then you've got to talk to your connections. You know, are your connections coming in? You reject some people, you say please follow me. You accept some people, you follow up, you have a conversation, people asking you for opinions and advice. You've got to follow up, and that's within you, without even completing your profile. You've got to complete your profile. People don't even complete their profiles.
Right. Agree with you. But hang on, so the modern CEO is now a call center. Is that right? Not just a call center, but he's like a brand. He's talking to people, answering questions. So that's almost like a
leadership.
Call center.
It's leadership. No, it's a leader. It's a catalyst. You're a positive catalyst for your organization. And look at all the stakeholders you have. You have your employees, you have your clients, you have your investors, you have your future partners, you have your PR partners, you have people who want to work for you, want to partner with you, want to do business with you. All these stakeholders are on LinkedIn, which is why a CEO needs to be blogging on LinkedIn, needs to be putting thought leadership out there on LinkedIn every single day, and not just about their company. That's what lots of CEOs and companies do. Lots of PR companies don't understand how to use LinkedIn. They keep doing, talk about the company. No, don't talk about the company at all. Talk about something personal to you. If you talk about something personal to you, you'll get millions of views, and then you can talk about the company. You can't do it the other way around, because you're giving no value. You've got to give value by saying, this is my experience. I failed doing this, or I succeeded doing this, or I think you should do this. You're a graduate, you should do this. You want a job at this company, you should be doing this instead. You can't just be doing a hard sell in terms of buy my SaaS product, or buy my software, or buy my cloud solution. That doesn't work, because you're giving no value to the followers. Give value first. Show you a human being, and then people will follow you. People will engage with you. People will invest in you, and they want to learn about what you do. They'll willingly do it. It's what I call the kind of the Richard Branson scenario. Richard Branson basically is out there all the time, 18 million followers. He's sharing content. He's giving away tips. He's talking about his entrepreneurial journey. He's talking about when things went wrong. But he's also got another agenda. He wants people to invest in Virgin and pay for the space flights, and pay for Virgin Atlantic, and pay for Virgin Active, and all the rest of it, all these other brands. But it doesn't work the other way around. If he went on LinkedIn and said, come and buy a ticket on Virgin Atlantic, you go, Richard, really? What are you doing? Listen, come to my gyms. They're really good. It's like, Richard, really? What are you doing? It's all about the brand first, and then the sell.
Right.
There you go.
Okay,
there
got
you
it.
go.
Okay.
Love it.
I have a question before we go into it. It's kind of off on the tangent. So you being here in Asia, right? So you coach a lot of Western leaders as well as Asian leaders.
Yes.
There seems to be a holdback of leaders going to social media and sharing. Is it different between Western leaders and Asian leaders?
Yes, massively. If you look at, for example, massively. I mean, Western leaders are better at it, because they're basically being told to do it when they're at university or school, or when they were doing graduating. Then they come over here and they keep on going, and really they have to do it more, because you have to make more of an effort over here. That's why I started posting so much and blogging so much over here, because I have to make more of an effort, because nobody knew who I was. I have no community here. My community was where I was brought up in Newcastle in the north of England, and then in London where I worked. So over here you have to work much harder. Local entrepreneurs here, local CEOs have to work basically hard, but they have a community, and they don't feel like they have to market themselves too far. Plus, culturally, as you know, people here do not want to promote themselves, do not want to be the face of companies. It's a massive challenge, really massive challenge. Yeah, the top 10 Singapore companies, CEOs, only one of them, Piyush Gupta, is on LinkedIn. The rest of them are not even on LinkedIn. So they basically do not want to be the face of the company. I've had many conversations with companies here to try and get them on board. I mean, I spent 5 or 6 years trying to get the Singapore government to come on board. It took them 5 or 6 years to come on board. Now they're on. Now they see the benefits. Now PM Lee's on there with hundreds of thousands of followers. Now the finance minister's there, the MOM minister. Now they see the reason to do it. It's LinkedIn. But it took me 5 years of chipping away to basically saying, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? And now they're on. The CEOs may follow suit, because they see the benefits. So, PM Lee's on LinkedIn. Well, we better be on LinkedIn as well. But they're still not on it. And they miss the whole trick. It's like they wonder why people don't want to work for them. They wonder why people leave them. They wonder why they've got no respect for them. And plus, they wonder why their own employees aren't even on LinkedIn. Because if the leader's not on LinkedIn, why should anyone else be on LinkedIn?
True. What do you think is the holdback for Asian
It's
leaders?
cultural. It's very cultural here. Basically, people do not want to be more. We use a phrase in our training. We say you have to be more American and less English. And the same thing about Asians. You have to be less Asian and more American, more self-promoting, less being reserved, saying, no, it's a team effort, it's the company first, because it's all rubbish. Nobody cares about the company. They care about the person. They buy into Elon Musk or Richard Branson or PM Lee or Michael Dell. They don't buy into the company. They only buy into the company because the person behind it, like Elon Musk, for example, is charismatic, has a personal brand, is outrageous, is thought-provoking. That's how it works. And that's why it has to be about people first, not companies first. And a lot of Asian CEOs do not want to have their public life out there, do not want to be sharing thoughts out there. They basically do not want to lose face in any way whatsoever. If people disagree with them, for example, they have an argument on LinkedIn with them, and they do not. It's a really big cultural challenge. But you get more and more younger CEOs, Asian CEOs, Malaysia, Singapore, and so forth, actually now getting on because they see the benefits of doing so, to raise capital, for example, or raise investment about what they're doing on, or to attract new employees or win clients. They realize the power of it, because ultimately it's free. Being on LinkedIn is completely free. You don't need to pay the premium product if you're not doing sales, so it's free. So why wouldn't you tap into the 5 million LinkedIn members in Malaysia, or the 2 million members in Singapore, or the 20 million members in Indonesia, or the 10 million members in Philippines and Thailand? Why wouldn't you do that? It's all free, and your customer base is in Asia Pacific. So it's a bit of a no-brainer if you really want to come across in a professional way and a trusted way, Nina, because LinkedIn is trusted. No one trusts Facebook. For obvious reasons, fake news. So don't post on Facebook, post on LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't allow political advertising, so people trust LinkedIn. They don't trust Facebook. So where should you put your content? In a place where it's trusted, like LinkedIn, or a place where it's not trusted, like Facebook? It's a bit of a no-brainer. Put it on LinkedIn.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, can we look at some questions? If there are any questions, guys, if you have any questions for Chris here, while he's taking a break and drinking, let us know in the comment section. Perthpal is saying that finally there's somebody who talks faster than Nina. I think, Perthpal, I think you are definitely right. I'm like, excited. Okay, cool. So
I love the energy, I love how he maintains the energy throughout the whole conversation.
Okay, which will be another question. How do you maintain this energy when you're presenting? Because a lot of our people will want to, start their live show and whatnot next. What's your advice?
What's your advice for this?
It's a great question. If you're passionate about something, it's not work. You just do it. So I did 550 slides this morning in an hour, which is about 9 slides a second. 550 slides in 1 hour.
In my standards, I would complain and say that's too much.
No.
I give value. I give value in every single slide. 1 point. You remember 1 point. Also stops people mobile. It stops people switching through their mobiles because they miss it. So they stop it. They have to focus on my presentation. You have to look at your audience. Your audience are on the mobile. You have to get them off the mobile and focus on you. 1 slide. You miss it, it's gone. You miss it, it's gone. Pay attention.
Okay, got it. Chris, the next time you have a session, I want to be in because I want to see this 500
I would love to see that too.
Because he thinks I'm crazy because I do 150 slides in 45 minutes and he thinks I'm a whack job. But at 500, I'm going for
15 yours. Minutes to do that.
15 minutes. He timed it. Okay, cool. Okay, so you shared just now 3 steps to become a thought leader. What are some things not to do? Do you have any disaster stories you can share? Gossip time.
The main thing not to do is basically don't have a complete profile and don't have a banner which clashes with your photograph. I've had so many people, they have a banner which they think looks good. They put it on LinkedIn and they don't realize the photograph on the left-hand side clashes with what they're trying to say. So the words now make no sense whatsoever. And it's like, did you not look at this? And on the mobile, it's even worse because the mobile, your picture is bigger. So it might look good on the laptop, but on the mobile, it might crash into the left-hand side. You've got to check it on both because 60% of users on LinkedIn on the mobile, 60%. So what does it look like on the mobile? What does your banner look like on the mobile? What does your content look like on the mobile? Think about mobile first, not laptop first when it comes to LinkedIn. Little things like that. Putting your headline, for example. having a picture that you can see if you're not a first connection. So many people have a picture which they've enabled only for their first connections, which is just bizarre because it's LinkedIn. You want to have everyone can see your photograph, because if I Google you, I'm going to see it anyway. So you're not hiding it from anybody, because Google says, I don't care about this LinkedIn thing. I'm going to show you the picture anyway. So it's completely pointless making it secret only for first connections. And then not posting. Number one criminal part is not posting.
Criminal. I love that.
Not posting. And then they reshare posts. So what they do is they see a post, they reshare it, and LinkedIn hates that. LinkedIn says, you're lazy. We're not going to show that to anybody at all because somebody else has already posted that. You're just nicking their content and resharing it. Nobody will see it. And that's why when people reshare, particularly from the company page, you get 0 comments and 0 likes because nobody cares. Nobody saw it. LinkedIn says, no, none of your followers are going to see it. So it's completely pointless. It's also, don't do company posts. Abandon your company page. It's all about your personal brand, not your company page. It's basically personal.
All right, got it. So are you guys listening? These are crimes against LinkedIn, okay? Get it right. Do not share.
I'm just so glad that somebody else is saying it, because I think I'm getting tired of trying to say this to people.
I can see Amin, and everything that you said is what Amin's been saying, and Amin's like, I knew it. You better listen to these people. How many times must I tell you? It's getting a pain to repeat. Kind of thing. So, okay, awesome. So, okay, how long does it take before you see results? I would just like to know from your point of view.
So there's two answers to that question. The first answer is immediately, because as soon as you start doing something on LinkedIn, you become part of the 1%, because only 1% of people on LinkedIn actually share. And LinkedIn likes that. So as soon as you start sharing, LinkedIn starts suggesting you to other people. But then it takes a while to build up your followers, build up your content. And that's the real key, is build up consistent content so people start engaging with your content. Then they will see future content. If nobody engages with it, they don't see your content. So it's all about getting people to engage on a consistent basis, and then your content will go viral on a consistent basis. If nobody cares about your content, you're literally throwing against a brick wall. It's basically nobody cares about it at all. You've got to get people to engage. And the way to engage is to do human stories that are topical and interesting, and more personal stories, not the company stories.
Not the company stories. Okay, so this is basically how one becomes an influencer in your country, company, region, globally, right? Kind of thing?
Correct.
All right, okay. Okay, we already covered the most common mistake people make, kind of thing. I would like to ask you more detailed questions. I mean, do you have any of the basic ones you want to ask before I go into detail?
Yes, I do.
So,
what kind of content, in your point of view now, would definitely work if you want to build your authority on LinkedIn? Because I know you're focusing on blogging. So I'm like, really? Blogging? Does this still work?
But maybe the phrase blogging is slightly wrong. What I mean by blogging is LinkedIn posts, which are basically up to 500 words, about 1,000, I think it's about 2,000, 3,000 characters. Now they've just increased it from 1,300 characters to 3,000 characters. Basically, that's what I call a blog. That's a post. It's not articles. It's not articles. It's not on your website. It's that. That's a post. That's a blog.
Okay, got it.
Because that's putting your thoughts out there. And it has to be topical. Normally, if it has a picture of you or a video of you, it will do better. So if it has a video of you or a picture of you, or you have a link to the Straits Times, for example, here in Singapore, or Channel News Asia or the BBC, and you put an opinion about something, that will work. Because you're giving value, you're putting an opinion out there, you're creating a polarizing content, that will work. But any picture of you or video of you will instantly get lots of followers engagement, because people are following you. People seem to forget you've got thousands of people following you. So why wouldn't you post about you? Because that's what people are following. They're following somebody else, they're following you.
Right.
I have a follow-up question for this. I like that you said polarizing content.
Yeah.
Will that get you into trouble? And maybe that's the reason why CEO is not putting it out there, right?
Yes.
I do polarizing content every single day. And you basically have to be prepared to take the flak. Like I get people, like I basically have a go at everybody. I don't really care who I have a go at, and you'll always get people coming in and abusing you, basically. And you just basically get rid of them. You just block them, report them, eradicate them, eliminate them, whatever you want to do.
Isn't it great for views as well? it's great for views as well.
Correct. Polarizing content works the best. Whenever you do
Right.
polarizing content, it works the best. And if you have a go at certain areas, like for example, I shared a couple of posts about a couple of Brits here, for example, who didn't wear masks on their tube and their boats, for example, and they got kicked out of Singapore. So I, as a former Brit, because I'm not British anymore, I can actually say that. I can say, what was this British person doing it? And bizarrely, all the Singaporeans agreed with me, saying, I'm glad you said that, because if I said that, it'd be racist. But then British people accuse me of racism, even though I'm obviously the same color as the person who actually doing that, which is just bizarre. So you accuse me of being racist against a white person. Really? I'd like, and it's typically of kind of like an English person, for example, to just be so high-minded. No, how dare you have a go to the English people? We are, we were the people who conquered your nations years ago. We deserve to be, the high command. We think we can get away with murder. And that's the point I was making. A lot of expats come over and think they basically rule the roast, and they don't. They have to basically integrate with society, become more aware of the local population, the politics, for example, and they don't do that. They think they can have the British rules, for example, over here, and it doesn't work, or the American rules, or the Australian rules, and it's like, you're in a different country. If I went to your country and broke the rules over there, I'd be in prison, I'd be a criminal over there. So the same thing works over here. You have to follow the rules of individual countries. So you post about that, and you automatically get people dividing. But you can do it on much more easy topics. I had to go at the Grand Prix in Singapore saying, complete waste of time, done its job, purely wallpaper, everyone hates it, all the locals hate it, we hate paying for it. But all these expats said, no, it does a really good job. It's like, it does a job for like 1% of the population who like going to the Grand Prix. Everyone else hates the Grand Prix. It's for a minority of people. It's a waste of time and a waste of money. But as soon as you say that, you get polarizing opinion. But that makes a blog go viral. You get 10, 20, 30, 40, 100,000 views as a result of it, which is fantastic, because then they look for your next blog and your next post and your next graphic, and then you can slip in a company post every now and again to make sure people know what you actually do, because that's key as well. You can't just purely do personal stuff all the time, because then people say, what do you do again? I have no idea what you do, because obviously they go, why have I got no clients? Oh, it's because I post about non-company stuff the whole time. So it's a balance. That's what we use a strategy called 411.
Okay,
so
what is the 411?
One hard sell post, so one post about your company, one soft sell post about your industry, and 4 unrelated personal posts. That gives value to your audience, gives value to your followers, and then they let you do a hard sell post. So 1 out of 6 can be hard. 1 out of 6. That's why you need to post on a daily basis. Because if you only do 1 out of 6, basically you do it across a week, it takes you weeks to do a hard sell post.
Okay, so this is 6 posts in a week. Is that what you're saying?
At the very minimum, you should be doing 6 posts in a week. I do 6 posts a day, and I follow this strategy for 6 posts a day because I'm targeting different target audience. I'm targeting Europe, I'm targeting America, I'm targeting Asia, I'm targeting Australia, I'm targeting different parts of it. And also the content will appeal to different people as well. Sometimes I do content about entrepreneurs, sometimes I do content about people who are basically working in entrepreneurships, or basically looking for multinationals or multinational CEOs. You have to aim the content in different areas. Sometimes I'll do Singapore content, sometimes I'll do international content, for example. So you have to really have a content plan and plan it out and think about what you're going to do, and then look for spontaneous ones, topical ones, once or twice a day, but don't rely on that. You've got to have some kind of concrete plan over 2 or 3 weeks of what content are you posting on a daily basis, and have it already planned out. We use Buffer quite a bit, or Hootsuite, to actually plan the content in, and that's brilliant, because then you have a foundation of content which you can supplement with topical content, which will come in on a daily basis, which you can then manipulate the existing content. So, okay, we're going to relegate that one, put this one in here, and then if nothing happens worth writing about, you just leave the content in there, and that works as a catalyst for conversation.
Okay. Now I want to go back to, you say you post 6 times a day, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. When you're first starting, do you suggest people to go 6 times a day, or just one? Okay. No. What's the minimum?
I suggest doing at least once a day.
And when do you increase your sort of posting?
When you start getting more engagement. So your 1 a day should be a test. You post it. If anybody likes and comments on it, go, okay, why do they do that? If nobody does, abandon that subject. Look for the next subject. What works with your community? Because everyone's got a different community. Everyone's community is very, very different. And my community has obviously changed from when I was in the UK. When I first came over here, I was an expat. Then I became a local. Then I became Singaporean. Now most of my engagement is with Singaporeans and with basically Asians, because that's obviously my market now, because I'm a Singaporean as well. I've been here for 13 years. So I have more standing there, and I can talk that. Also, because of the situation with the expats in Singapore, there are less expats here. They're not being allowed in. Many of them have left. 200,000 have left. So you basically got to adapt your marketplace to basically where you're targeting, and adapt your content, see what works. you can see the data. How many views did it get? How many likes did it get? How many comments did it get? That's the key thing. You've got to be looking at this on a daily basis. That one worked. That one didn't work. Oh, why didn't that work? Oh, I'll do this in a different way. Do that. Show this picture. That's interesting. That doesn't work. I'll give you a great example. I'm a Forbes writer, so I share my Forbes posts, but they're my worst performing posts. Now, the reason why is because you have to click away from LinkedIn to go to Forbes. And LinkedIn doesn't like people clicking away. LinkedIn also basically, the users don't like clicking away. So basically people won't click away. So you have to do it in the post. I've started now editing the Forbes post, taking a paragraph out and saying, if you want to read all of it, here's the thing, here's the link, but having a picture in there. And now they're performing better because people like to read it on the feed. They don't like to click away. So you can't use content that clicks away, but you only learn about this by actually using it in certain ways. Learn what pictures work, what content work, what content doesn't work. So you have to really look at kind of like your market. What are they interested in? What are they not interested in?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
I'm going to connect to Renee on this. Because for me, I know that there's two schools of thought on this. There one school of thought that says, you know what? Post once a day is good enough, because if you post more than once, it's going to affect your other post. But I kind of agree with Chris. If you want to start, go with one, right? Because you want to go more than one.
Your capabilities, right? You don't want to straight away go for marathon when you can't even run.
If you can't even be consistent with just one post every day, don't go for 6. That's how it's here. Because you want to play the big game, you have to be very strategic with this. Very strategic, because what I'm hearing from Chris right now is that, I don't know, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here, that yours is very strategic based on time zone.
Yeah,
and community,
and the community you're building as well. Right?
But it's also about facts. It's also about how many people use LinkedIn on a daily basis. Also, don't remember, LinkedIn is not Facebook. People use LinkedIn for 20 minutes a month. 20 minutes a month. People use Facebook for 2 hours a day. So these are not comparable at all. And you've got less people using LinkedIn. They might look at it for one day, for 10 minutes, 20 minutes on the way somewhere, waiting for somewhere. They're not using it. Literally 1 or 2% are using it on a daily basis. The rest of us aren't. The rest of people aren't. So if you only post once a day or once a week, nobody will actually see your content. If you post 5 or 6 times a day, you have more chance of hitting people who look at it on a speculative kind of weekly basis, and more to the point, they might be interested in one of the posts. If you only post once a day and it's the wrong content, then they might not be interested. If you post 5 times with 5 different subjects, they go, well, I didn't like that one or that one, but I like this one. I'm going to comment on this one. I like this. And you only do that by posting several times a day. And you've just got to appreciate, people do not use LinkedIn like they use other social media platforms, because it's still work. People see it like work. It's already well me and you doing it because we're entrepreneurs. We use it every single day for hours a day. The majority of people do not, because they're basically doing work. Also, the majority of people work for multinational, and multinationals have lots of rules about what you can post, what you can't post, and people are reluctant to do it because they're very conservative, particularly in Asia, for example. I can't upset him and I can't upset her, or my boss is seeing this, my client's seeing this. I can't be that polarizing, which is why it's all based on views, not comments and likes, because people are reluctant to actually engage unless you're an entrepreneur and you answer to yourself, like I do, for example, and you guys do. And that's the difference between entrepreneurs and kind of the normal person on LinkedIn, who basically does not like to do that, but likes to view, likes to scroll through it. And that's why weekends work very well, because multinationals definitely don't post the weekends, but entrepreneurs do. And people are still looking at LinkedIn, scrolling through it, looking for something interesting as and when. That's why you can get a post going viral on a Saturday or Sunday if you post cleverly in the morning, or something polarizing or something interesting, but something gentler, not a company post, not a business post, something that is more of a lifestyle post people can get their teeth stuck into. And you really got to adapt, for a weekend, Monday to Thursday, then Friday to Sunday post. They're very, very different. Monday to Thursday, you can do more business. Friday to Sunday, you have to do more lifestyle.
Okay, somebody's asking, what's polarizing again? Short answer.
Okay.
So cute. Thank you for asking, because I'm sure there's a lot who's probably wondering. Yeah.
Half the people hate you and half the people love you, basically.
I love that. Thank you. So it's either love it or hate it.
Okay, Rohan, because Rohan is one of our community members as well. I think, Rohan, your personality is polarizing.
Yes, it will scare a lot of people.
It will
so just
scare a lot of
you.
people. Just be you, okay? Because just want to share a little bit about Rohan. He is a guy.
Rohan's a guy, makeup. And he puts the makeup on himself.
Exactly,
Fantastic.
He puts makeup on himself.
Yeah,
fantastic, right? I think that's a very strong polarizing personal brand.
Yeah,
that's what
Good
it
job.
is. Yeah.
If people
job,
react to it, it is not about you, okay, Rohan? It's about them.
Yeah.
Just know that. If you
It's
get
their issue, not your
Dead
issue.
right.
okay, you have me on my number, so you know what to do if you get into anything, okay? Okay, love, hate, got it. Okay, cool. Prathpal had a question. When do we start looking at the views and the likes and the whatnot? What's your advice? Because, we Asians are so scared.
Immediately, you got to look straight away. You got to basically measure it. You got to see it as a business. You got to look at it and say, I posted this. How many views did I get? How many likes? How many comments? What worked? What didn't work? And then you got to start answering all the comments, because answering the comments makes the post go viral. If you don't answer the comments, they don't go viral, basically. So you have to basically keep on monitoring it. And like I say, use it as a business. It's not Instagram or Facebook. It's a business. Like, you're posting it for a reason, to enhance your personal brand, to basically enhance your kind of company credentials, and to potentially sell your product or services, for example, to people on LinkedIn. You only do that if your posts are going to get viral, and more people then look at your profile, look at your products. If your posts don't go viral, and nobody looks at your products, look at your profile, nobody's going to buy your product or service, because no one's going to know about it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Got it.
Awesome.
Kind of thing. Puffball is also saying that somebody sasat. Is it here? Yay. Well, it's driving up my view, so I'm happy. Okay, detailed questions. Sales Navigator, is it necessary? What's the benefit of it? I'm wondering, who should be using Sales Navigator?
Yes. And it's Sales Navigator Team, because there's two. So you have to buy Team. And confusingly, you don't need to be a team to buy Sales Navigator Team. You can be a single person buying Team. So we have all our clients in it, and they're a single person. Yeah, it's really bizarre. Why do they call it Team when you don't need to be a team to buy it? I mean, it's a typical LinkedIn thing. And they confuse you more, because they have a pro and they have Team. But
LinkedIn always confuses people, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
They're so good at it.
Most people don't know there's 5 versions of Premium. Did you know there's 5 versions of Premium?
No. What are the different
5
types?
versions of Premium. So there's Premium Basic, the Sales Navigator Pro, the Sales Navigator Team, there's Recruiter Lite, and there's Recruiter. So there's 5 different versions.
Okay,
and they confuse people and no end with this. Now, you should all be on Sales Navigator Team if you're doing sales. If you're not doing sales, you can do Sales Navigator Pro, because Sales Navigator Team has more outreach, more saved lists, but it has smart links. And smart links is basically how we share things like white papers or content or basically recommendations or services. And if I share it with somebody, because it's connected to the LinkedIn ecosystem, I can tell if they look at it. So if somebody really enthusiastic say, hey, Chris, send me your services, I send them a smart link. And if they don't look at it, I go, you're full of shit, because you didn't look at it. And I'm not going to follow up with you. But if people look at it, I can tell. So it's a great way of qualifying. You qualify. People look at it for like 1 second and they go, I can't afford that. Brilliant. Because I don't want to have a conversation with you if you can't afford my fees. There's no point. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of my time. So we use it as a qualifying. But one of our clients, for example, uses white paper. Another of our clients uses it for case studies, and he can tell if he sends it out to 20 people, he can tell the 10 people actually looked at it for how long, and then we follow up with the people who looked at it. It's all part of social selling. You're sharing content, you're following the data. As a result of that message, are they looking at your profile? Follow up, send them a smart link. Are they clicking on the smart link? If they don't click on the smart link, they're not really that engaged. Plus, they might not be qualified. And that's the danger. You can have a call with someone, they don't look at the smart link. And I know if I have a call with someone who doesn't look at the smart link and they basically see the prices, they go, oh, I can't afford you. Brilliant. You could have basically looked at my smart link, would have avoided all that conversation we just had. A waste of time, basically. So you can use it for qualifying, and you can use it to see who's really interested in your services or your brand or your content. It's brilliant because it's all linked to LinkedIn. Every single time someone looks at my smart link, I get a notification. And you can use things like websites. I use my Forbes page, my YouTube page, my Apple page, my Spotify page, and I use a smart link. So I can tell who goes from LinkedIn to my deck, to my Forbes page, to my Spotify page, and so forth. I can see how they exploit it. I can also tell if they've shared it internally as a big company, because I can see other people in the same company that pops up and it says, oh, this person has also looked at, oh, that's interesting. They're really engaged. They're really looking at this from a serious point of view. I will spend some time with them to focus on getting them over the line. But I can also tell people who don't do it. Which is really, really important. As an entrepreneur, you only have a certain amount of time. You need to know who is interested and who is not interested. And smart links are brilliant. Because if you just send out a PDF or a PowerPoint, like, you have no idea where they look at it. If you send them people to your website, you have no idea if they looked at it. But you can using a smart link. So big advice to use smart link. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to win clients. Use smart link, which is only on Sales Navigator Team. That's the only premium it's on, not basic premium, not pro, not recruiter, not recruiter like Sales Navigator Team. That's what we recommend.
Chris, I think you're almost psychic because you're answering the questions that I have in my head, like which Sales Navigator. Okay, Sales Navigator team and not the Sales Navigator basic, right? How much is the how much is the Sales Navigator Pro and how much is the Sales Navigator team?
So Pro is about half the price of Team. So Pro is about $60, I think, or $70 a month, whereas Singapore dollars, whereas Team is about $130, $140 a month. If you pay for the year, you get 20% off. There's various discounts you can do. So basically, you want to do Team and you want to buy it for the year so you get the maximum discount.
Got it. And you don't need a team for Sales Navigator.
No, you don't need a team. It's so badly named.
Okay, and the Smart Link comes with the team. Okay, got it.
With Team,
got it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. You answered both questions I need. How do you message to find investors, clients, partners, employees on LinkedIn? Just wondering.
So there's various ways you can do it. The way we tend to do it is through content. If you share content, people engage, you connect with the people because they've engaged with you, or they look at your profile, and then you share a smart link about the investor deck, for example, or the client deck or the services, and then you can see if they look at the smart link, then you set up a meeting as a result of that. So you use your personal brand, you use keywords in your headline, for example, you use keywords in your experience, and you use content. Content is the best way of doing this. It's not messaging. You have to message only after somebody engages with your content. So your first connections are really important because your first connections are buying into you. They've engaged somehow. You should only ever engage and connect with people who engage with your content because you know they're live, they're active, they're interested in your personal brand and your content. Don't waste time with people who may not even be using LinkedIn, may not engage on LinkedIn, may not be able to help you on LinkedIn. You can't help them, they can't help you. They're pointless. So don't have vanity metrics on LinkedIn. Make sure your connections actually, you can help them and they can help you. But content is the best way of doing it. If you put some content out there and an investor sees it because you're raising capital, for example, and then approaches you because you read the content or looks at it or likes it or comments or looks at your profile, then you follow up with them. Use the data. Look who's stimulated by your content. That's the best way of doing it because basically in-mails only work with people who are really, really basically engaged with your content.
Okay, got it. I mean, any questions? What about you guys tuning in? Somebody's Googling smart links now.
Sam is Googling smart link right now.
Good job.
Good job.
Okay, I have a question. Authenticity. You said that authenticity is super important. Could you describe to me what you mean by authenticity? Why is it so important in this day and age? And if you have any case studies to share or any tips on authenticity.
So, I mean, authenticity is being yourself. So basically, on a call like this, for example, it's sharing thoughts that are basically yourself. And if that means you polarize people, you annoy people, you basically irritate people, you basically get people to block you, unfollow you, whatever, then so be it, because you're being yourself. The worst you can do is be fake on LinkedIn because you get called out, you get found out. You go, well, hang on a minute, you said that the other day and now you're saying this. You're just agreeing with everybody. There's no point in doing that. You have to be authentic. So authenticity basically will get you admirers, but it'll also get you haters as well. Because basically people won't like the authentic you, because if you try and please all the people all the time, you can't succeed. You can never do that. So don't even bother trying it. Be yourself. And if you're genuinely passionate about what you do and you're basically able to convey your service, your product, your personal brand, people will respect you who matter. The other people don't matter. Forget about them, block them, unfollow them, disconnect them, remove them. They don't matter. Only get people who basically want to be engaged with you on your follower list and be authentic with them, and they'll love it. And they'll respect you, and they'll basically even respect your content when they disagree with it, because they'll respect your authenticity because they know you're being consistently basically interesting or polarizing or thought-provoking. And that's the key. You've got to be authentic. Elon Musk is a great example of someone who's authentic. He's unfortunately not on LinkedIn. If he was, he'd have like 1 million followers or 10 million followers, whatever it is.
I know, right?
I know, it'd be fantastic. But he's a good example of being very authentic. He doesn't care who he upsets.
Right. Okay, so since we are talking about authenticity, wait, I just need to do this one thing. Kong Naret, I have no idea what you're saying. Seriously, you've been saying a lot of stuff in the feed, but are you okay or not?
It's okay. He's saying 55. That's fine. Okay. This is the society one I was talking about, and it's okay. It's driving up the comment and engagement, so I'm fine with that.
Thanks for being here, by the way. But I really don't understand what you're trying to say.
Okay. Hang on. But Chris, there are some people who say they are authentic, and yet we're like, nope, you're not. How do you communicate to such people that they're robots or they're not themselves? because they really
you
think they are
you
themselves.
see it on LinkedIn. You can see fake people on LinkedIn. You can see people just trying to please all the people all the time. You can treat people basically not being authentic. I mean, it's very easy to see. You just got to be your authentic self. Just be you. Stop trying to please people, basically, and just be you. I mean, that's the simplest way of being authentic, is just be bloody you. Don't be trying to be somebody else, because you can't be somebody else, because they're already somebody else. You've got to be yourself. And if you basically adapt and you basically accept the fact of who you are, and you basically put your profile out there, which does indeed take bravery for some people, for example, then just go for it. And if you will get criticism. You've got to accept on social media, you will get criticism. You'll get haters, no matter who you are. Everyone gets haters on LinkedIn. So basically, everyone gets haters on social media. So you've got to be authentically you. And if you're authentically you, you will get more positive people respecting you than you will haters.
More positive people respecting you than you get haters when you are authentic. Okay, love it.
Correct.
I mean, question from you.
Yes, I do have one.
Which is?
So what's stopping people from just being authentic? It's just
they're worried
based on
about
your
what people
experience.
think. They're worried about what people think. That is the number one reason. It's the same reason why basically the CEOs in Asia basically don't go on, or the employees don't go on, because they're worried about what people think. Will I offend somebody? Will someone annoy me? Will someone write a nasty comment about it? And basically it's a very understandable concern, but you got to basically just get over yourself. Life's too short to worry about what other people think, basically.
Agreed.
It really is. You just got to get on with it. And basically, if people don't like it, then block them, unfollow them, remove them. Don't have them in your feed, basically. And have people who want to respect, who will do respect you for who you are. I mean, fundamentally, it comes down to who is your brand, how honest is your brand, how honest is your authentic self. If you go to the bar with somebody or pub with someone, you can't put on a front the whole time. You have to be you. So stop pretending to be somebody else and just be yourself on LinkedIn. And people will respect that. I guarantee it.
Okay,
yeah.
fantastic.
How about this one? How about this conversation? I don't want haters. What do you do? What's your point of view?
Don't go on social media then. I mean, literally, do not go on social media. Remove yourself. Go on an island that has no connectivity, has no social media, and then you will avoid the haters.
Yeah, definitely. Agree. Okay, Chris, we spoke about content. How do we make the content super engaging? I think, what are people looking for?
They're looking for basically something that is interesting, something that's thought-provoking, something that concerns them, something that they're also thinking about, something that they're going to have an opinion on, something that basically makes them think about something. They're also looking at something for you, because they're following you. If you have 1,000 followers, they're following you. So that content has to be about you, has to be your thought. It can't be about your company. It has to be you. It can't be just resharing other people's things, because then it's not about you, just resharing somebody else. Unless you're putting an opinion on it, it's just resharing other people's stuff. It's like, well, that's why LinkedIn hates that, because it's not your opinion. You got to have your opinion. If you've got 1,000 followers, they want to see what you think about that, not what other people think about that. It's like, what do you think about it? And that's the key, is to have opinions which matter, which polarize, which are thought-provoking, which are interesting, which basically also people say, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that. I did not know that. You changed my life. I didn't know that. I'm going to do that today. It'll change my life. I didn't know that. I will be a better person, a better business person. I will move more clients because now I know that.
Well done. Well said. Any other questions? Okay.
I just want you to be aware that it's 4:52.
Yep, right? I'm already aware.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Sell ice cream also got haters. That's so funny. Somebody said, if you don't want haters, sell ice cream. And then somebody said, when you sell ice cream, also got haters. All right. Okay, cool. What are your top 3? Okay, we're going to go into the rapid fire round. What are your top 3 tips for leaders if they want to get started on LinkedIn? Let's bring it to a close.
Start.
Literally,
get on LinkedIn and post. I mean, literally, basically that's the best thing to do, is actually start, complete your profile, and start posting. I mean, literally, it's not rocket science. Just basically start.
Okay, start, complete your profile. Anything else? One more tip.
Post. Got
it.
And do not post company content. Post personal content. Personal.
Okay, got it. Right. What's your advice for people on LinkedIn and they're already creating content, but they're not getting results? What is it that they should look into?
They should look at why that's not getting results. Why is your content boring? Why is your content, bland? Why is the content basically people going, nah, don't care about that? Basically, how do you make it polarizing? How do you make it thought-provoking? Why aren't you sharing something that's interesting? Why aren't you sharing something which people didn't know? Why aren't you sharing something that's more confrontational? Why aren't you sharing something which basically makes people think? or changes their life, or changes their opinion about something, or is sharing something that people didn't know that is useful in their daily work lives or their daily personal lives. I mean, I shared something about sleep the other day, and I got like 100,000 views because everyone's got an opinion on sleep. And so I was sharing my experience of sleep, and somebody else said, "Oh, what about this about sleep?" And, "Oh, this is how you overcome insomnia." And the people are like, "I have insomnia too, but I sleep here." And it's like something simple like that. Everyone's got an opinion on, so you can build on that and look for common themes. And there's plenty of common themes about which you can basically resonate in everyday life, just like you would do in a bar or a pub or a cafe. All you're doing is sharing things that other people can empathize with. I have this challenge, I have this problem. And whether it's about, family or about business or about working for somebody or basically being a boss, everyone's got the same problems or challenge. And that's what it's all about, empathizing with what do my followers really want to hear about? What are my followers interested in? And then test it. You got to test. So test content every day. What content works? Then measure it and just make a record to yourself. Okay, that one worked, that one didn't work, that one worked, that one didn't work. And then follow the data. Follow the data. The data's liquid. That sometimes you post about it and it worked for like 6 weeks in a row, then it stops working. Why does it stop working? Maybe people have got enough of that subject matter. They moved on to another subject matter. So you got to be adapting it. Follow the data. Follow the data. Follow the data.
Okay, got it. Now, what about people who are already on LinkedIn? They're doing pretty okay. Are there ways in which they can go to God level on LinkedIn, kind of like you, with more than 100K followers? What do they do? What's your advice? What's your thought?
I mean, the number one thing to do is content. Put out more content. Put out more thought-provoking content. Put out more challenging content. Put out more content about you, more pictures of you, more videos of you. Have more opinions. I mean, that's the number one way to get more followers, is have an opinion on something which people actually care about one way or the other. I mean, again, it's not rocket science. You look at the most successful social media entrepreneurs or opinion leaders on all social media, from TikTok to LinkedIn, from WeChat to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. They have an opinion. And if they have an opinion which people either agree with or don't agree with, people will follow that person because of it. Look at Elon Musk. People have an opinion. They either hate him or they love him, but they follow him, and that's the key. If Elon Musk was really bland, saying, "I have a car and it's a really good car and it runs very well and the petrol does this and the electric does this and saves you this much money," people wouldn't follow him. But he says, "Buy this, don't buy this, do this, don't do this. This person's an idiot, this person's a hero," and then changes his mind like a week later, and he goes, "Hang on a minute, last week you said that, now you're saying that."
Okay. What? Now I understand why I'm in a relationship with this guy. So I get it now. Okay, thank you. Clarity. Thank you. You've just gone red. Okay, guys, how many? Okay, there's one more question here. What if you posted something that got you in trouble with your family?
Oh, that's a good one.
What's your advice? Sounds like something I would get in trouble. Sounds like something Rohan would get in trouble. Yeah, but let us know.
More likely on LinkedIn, you will post something which gets you in trouble with your friends and colleagues and work colleagues than your family, because you don't normally. I mean, my mum and dad and my sister aren't on my LinkedIn. My wife's not on my LinkedIn. So none of my family are on my LinkedIn. I think so. It's more likely to get in trouble with other people who basically, some people who friends, associates, whatever, and they'll obviously test that relationship because you have an opinion, you put it out there, they don't agree with it, and it'll create some arguments, definitely. I mean, so it's more about kind of like, are you willing to have that? Because you substantiate it. And that's, again, being authentic. If you can substantiate your argument, then basically go for it. Believe in yourself.
Well, you don't want to go out there and say, I don't like my sister. In fact, I wish, right? Stuff like that. I wish, you can't choose the family that you're born
I'll give you a very good example. Give you a very good example. There was a kind of opinion leading woman, Singaporean woman, who posted yesterday or day before about how her mother, her tiger mum, beat her up, and she put it on LinkedIn. She put it on LinkedIn, but it went completely viral. And her tiger mum's famous. Yeah, I mean, well, for the wrong reasons. Yeah, but basically, she was making a point about, not every tiger mum is a hero, not every mother is a godsend and so forth. And she got huge amounts of support, massive amount of support. And she was very kind of like blasé about it, because obviously she'd lived with this abuse for many, many years as a child growing up. But she shared it on LinkedIn, which obviously would have probably upset her family if they basically read it. But it's basically she's being very, very authentic and being very open and honest, and she got huge amounts of kindness and support because of it, and more empathizing and more understanding as well. And it was the bravest thing I've ever seen on LinkedIn, because she's basically putting it out there, and I had to read it a couple of times to make sure I was actually reading that she actually got abused by her mama, because she basically went into great detail about how the abuse happened. And then she even kind of like, she sent back, she said, look, she was a tiger mum and she did this. And even the comments where she was very kind of like blasé about it. And obviously there's lots of hidden and depth there and emotions there and feelings there. And it was an amazing, amazing post. But obviously that will cause a conversation in her family, because her family will probably see that. Maybe she has sister, maybe she has brother, maybe she has siblings, maybe she has father, whatever, kids. And they will basically see this and go, blimey, they may not know about it. They may have been unaware of the abuse that actually happened, for example, or hidden it away, or it was secret, for example. So it's actually a very, very brave post to do, but it basically enhanced her personal brand, because it was the most authentic thing I've ever seen on LinkedIn.
Well, there you go. I guess we just got to be brave one day at a time, right? Yeah, one post at a time. How's that? It's about pushing boundaries. Oh, she says too late. Her family's on LinkedIn. It's okay. I guess, do it for the views.
Do it for the views.
What are we teaching you? Okay. All right. 1 more minute. All right, Chris, moving forward, what are your plans? What's next for you?
World domination. I mean, literally, we have so much work to do. I mean, literally, we've been doing this for 10 years, trying to get people on LinkedIn. And like,
and you still have a job, right? That's how many people know about LinkedIn.
It's growing. Plus, it's growing.
Okay.
I mean, the great thing is, when I first started doing this, there was like 350 million members. Now there's 760 million members. And people still have no clue how to use LinkedIn. And as long as that still grows, as long as the people on it don't have any clue about LinkedIn, I will always have a business. So my business is growing. We employ 40 people to actually manage other people's LinkedIn, to write their content, to do the social selling, because people don't have 4 or 5 hours a day to actually do it. So we do it for them. And we will always have that business, because basically it's either you don't do it, or you do it yourself, or you outsource it. They're the 3 basic things you can actually do, because basically employing your intern or your PA to do it is a recipe for disaster. Never employ your PA or your intern to do it. That's a complete disaster. You've got to employ professionals. It's your professional brand. You've got to employ professionals to do your personal brand, because it's professional. You've got to come across as professional. You don't do that by employing your intern or your PA or even your corporate communications team, because most of them are completely rubbish.
Okay. What's your views on LinkedIn articles? Yay or nay?
Dead. No, they've been dead for 5 years. LinkedIn used to promote them. They didn't do that anymore. Then they removed them from the front page and moved them to the featured section. The featured section is for your post, not your articles. Articles are dead. And then like groups are dead on LinkedIn. So groups and articles dead. Do not worry about it. Just focus on your feed, post on your feed on a daily basis, and that will get results.
Okay, got it. Okay, one last thing. If you had one advice to people with respect to running a business during these challenging times, what would it be? I think I know what it is, but you tell me.
I mean, the simplest thing is to basically use LinkedIn every single day. And I mean every single day, Saturday, Sunday, to engage with potential clients. And don't just look at clients being in your country. The key thing about the pandemic and working from home is your clients are everywhere. We were already having clients across the world. Our biggest market outside Singapore is Zurich. We have clients in London and Munich and Hong Kong and Shanghai and Sydney and Melbourne and Tokyo and San Francisco and New York and Miami, because we looked at LinkedIn as a global network. Now, it's a global point of view. So your clients, if you can't get clients in Malaysia, don't worry about it. Go to Indonesia, go to Thailand, go to Philippines, go to Singapore, go to Hong Kong, go to Australia, go to Europe. There's money all over the place on LinkedIn. So you got to find it, and you find it through content, and you find it through outreach, and you find it having a personal brand. But you've got to be using it and mining it on a daily basis to be able to find it. It's not going to come to you unless you actually put it out there. Put your content out there, then it will come to you. If you don't do content, people don't know about you. You've got to do content. Then people will start saying, oh, what's this Nina person? Oh, what's this Armin person? And then they'll start saying, oh, what do you do? Oh, I need someone to do that. Fantastic. The market is global. So entrepreneurs have no excuse to say, I've got no clients, because you've got 800 million people on LinkedIn. You can find a few clients there.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris.
World domination, everyone. Remember that.
It's
world domination. 2 minutes over.
Can we have a big round of applause for Chris?
Yes, of course we can. Okay, hold on for a while. Right?
We have no videos.
Just for Chris, right? Just for Chris, this one.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it should be the other one, the damn one. I mean,
Oh, this one now.
Exactly, because
There
that's
you
how
go.
the session was for me. Thank you, Chris. That was amazing.
Pleasure.
And I'm sure our viewers feel the same way. Although I can't see right now
Exactly.
because I don't know what happened to my phone. But thank you so much. Thank you. What was your biggest learning? Let us know in the comment section. What was your biggest learning, Amin, from this session?
You know what? Just do it. Again, there's a reinforcement of
Yep.
just go out there and just do it, right? I think stop all this hitters and
Yeah.
thinking too much about,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I need to
Just
be
do it.
polite.
You need to
It's
be polite,
LinkedIn.
right?
I have to look
LinkedIn.
good. So for me, it's about polarizing. Just be a bitch. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Love
I
that
have
part.
a lot of videos.
Polarizing content. That's a
Yeah.
cool stuff to put
It's
in.
okay to have haters because you can exercise the block function. You
Yep.
know, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, blocked. Okay, got it. Thank you. This has been
Pleasure.
amazing. Thank you,
Brilliant
thank you, thank
stuff.
you.
Great to be
Thank you
on.
so much.
Cheers.
Chris. Good stuff. Right. So, guys, by the way, do follow Chris. Right. Check him out in his on his LinkedIn profile as well. Right. I already shared it in the chat just now as well. Connect with Chris. Follow him. A lot of good stuff in his LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much,
It's
Chris.
J
I had fun.
Mohawk
Thank you very much for
Reed.
having me.
Yeah,
Great to be on
thank
the
you.
show.
Bye.
Bye.
All right,
Okay.
that was amazing. That was amazing. I mean, I was like absolutely blown away by that. And I think it just reaffirms that, you know what? F what people say, just be you, be yourself.
Exactly. Even the
Go out
chickens
there.
agree with it.
Oh,
Just
really?
now, when as he was explaining it, the chicken was like,
Okay, there you go. It's like a prayer, you know?
It's like a
when
friendly,
you say
right?
amen,
There you go.
amen, you know,
Amen,
in church
amen.
or in a prayer kind of thing. Okay, cool. So what's happening next week? Before we forget, let's find out what's happening next week. What was their biggest learning? Let me know. Okay, next week we are going to be with Rohan Chowbi. I hope I'm
This guy is
pronouncing the
good.
name right. This guy is
Yeah.
amazing. He's also a best-selling author of the Growth Hacking book series, world record holder,
Correct.
and celebrated growth hacker. And next week, we're going to be talking about how to acquire and retain 100 to 100,000 users, customers, followers, whatever you like. We're going to help get you there. So that's happening next week at our usual time, which is 8 o'clock, okay? And then we're going to
Yeah.
shift to 8:30 lah, so we streamline everything, okay? How's that?
Okay.
All right?
Sounds
Sounds
like
good.
a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like
good.
a plan.
I like
Okay,
that.
cool. So thank you so much for your time. We hope you learned something. And if you know somebody who's going to appreciate what the insights from today's show is, please tag them, share it to them, like, and, follow us on our social media, on Facebook, YouTube. We're building our Telegram, so please follow us there. PopConFest will be coming out with more videos and speakers. Let us know who you want us to interview. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm Nina signing off.
And I'm signing off. This is the
And you've
54th
been-
episode.
You've been kind.
See you again next week, guys. Bye.